So today I just wanted to run through some of the jargon in QuickBooks. Of course, it's really important that you have an understanding of what you're actually doing in your software. If you don't, it can be really easy to duplicate. For example, if you don't understand that you've categorized something directly from the bank and then entered a purchase invoice as well, that you have in effect duplicated that transaction. So hopefully, if we just have a little run through the jargon, and this will help to make sure that you have a really good understanding of what you're actually achieving. So if we just jump here into the software, if we click onto, in your dashboard, if we just click onto the new icon, and then I'm just going to run through the main things here that you'll be looking at doing. And again, some of these items will be superseded by a bank feed. If you have an automated bank feed, obviously that will then bring all of the transactions into the software for you, and then you will either be categorizing or matching the transactions directly from the bank feed. So when we talk about this, when I talk about matching a transaction, what I mean then is if you've, for example, already entered a sales invoice or a purchase invoice, then when the payment comes in or out, you will be matching that transaction to the transaction that you've already created, the invoice. And the same if you've already created a manual transaction, perhaps you already manually entered the payment either in or out, then you would just match that when it comes through of the bank feed. If you have nothing already entered for that transaction and you don't wish to enter a purchase invoice, then you can categorize the transaction directly from the bank. So that's what I mean by categorizing or matching. So in your new panel then, the things that you'll be looking at, customers, it's all fairly straightforward. Invoicing, receiving the payments, estimate, credit note, these are all fairly standard things that you might want to do. Delayed charge is if you've perhaps incurred some expense for a customer that you want to recharge to them, but you're not ready to actually send the invoice, then that will just kind of put it in the waiting on their account, as it were. So in the suppliers, then this is where I do find people do get a little bit confused sometimes. So bill is a purchase invoice. So if you are entering a bill into your software, you're entering the purchase invoice, you're entering the or accounting for the expense, so you're categorizing that you spent X amount on whichever category it is. If you're VAT registered, you're accounting for the VAT, and that bill will then sit on your creditors report until such time that you pay that invoice and mark it as paid appropriately from however that you have paid it. So this is where I see the most confusion, I would say, is the lack of understanding sometimes that once you've created that bill, you must, once the payment comes through to the bank feed, you must match that payment to the bill that you've already created. If you categorize directly from the bank feed, then effectively you're again accounting for the expenditure and categorizing where that's gone to. So that's obviously something that we want to avoid. And then we've got expense on the suppliers list, and this is where you've made a payment and you're not looking to enter the purchase invoice. There's not always a need to do that if you're not looking to track the outstanding invoices for that supplier, then there's no need to do that. So in this case, that you would use the expense and that will just put the transaction directly to the bank, a kind of like a manual version of what the bank feed would do once it's categorized. So sometimes, for example, for your petty cash, you have no bank feed from that, so you still have to do that this way. And then obviously we can see in the other another common thing that I'm asked, where how do I do this, is a transfer. So to transfer between accounts, that's really easy to think. If you've transferred some money to your reserve account, then clearly that's a bank transfer. But perhaps you've taken cash out of your bank account. So in this scenario, we would just treat your petty cash as another bank account, and we would just enter a transfer from your bank to your petty cash. So hopefully by covering this jargon, hopefully this will help you to start to understand more what you're actually doing when you click each of the things, and what that's actually achieving within the software. And hopefully this will keep your accounting more accurate and reduce errors for you. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel.